Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday, April the 8th, 2025. And I tell you what, it's nice Tuesday outside weather-wise. No severe weather. Good thing there. And tell you what, just happy to be here with you all. Interesting weather we had last week, and let's talk more about that here coming up. We'll have some more people hopping on here. By the way, on Facebook, I'm actually live streaming right now on Facebook and YouTube, by the way. So would like to mention that the Facebook feed is public, so you guys can share it if you want. Lot to unpack here with this recent severe weather event. So what we're going to do is going to read to you the information from the National Weather Service in Paducah. We'll talk about the tornadoes that happened. Also got some screenshots of the record rainfall in our area and region. Areas down to our south had a lot of rain. Actually had the most rain, especially in Kentucky, land between the lakes area. Again, live chat's open if you want to say hi, by the way. So if you guys want to drop in a comment, say hello, maybe you have a question about the recent severe weather event, feel free to post it. Would love to hear from you. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So going back to last Wednesday, I'm going to go off of what Paducah posted, and this is public information, by the way. They got it up on their website, but in case you have not read it yet, or maybe you want to read it later on, here it is. So a tornado outbreak, this is their overview. A tornado outbreak occurred across our region during the late afternoon and evening on April 2nd, 2025. Storm Prediction Center issued a rare high risk for our region, which was the first time since November 17th, 2013, that any part of our forecast area was in this level of risk. At least 14 tornadoes have been confirmed across our region so far, with more areas yet to be surveyed in the coming days. Now, the most tornadoes in any one-day event in their office history was 21, and I'm going to stress this here, which could be in jeopardy. And so they are still doing, I call it damage surveys, damage assessment. So 14 tornadoes so far have been confirmed, and there's still more out there that they're trying to confirm. So anyway, if you recall, I know for the Fairfield area, we were underneath a moderate risk for severe weather, which is a level 4. If you go down to the southwestern deep part of southern Illinois and pretty much following along the Mississippi River, those areas were level 5 high risk. So they also says in here in red, details will be added in the coming days as damage surveys are completed. Information such as pictures, radar, and storm reports will be added at some point as well. So this is a page you want to keep an eye on. Again, just go to weather.gov/Paducah or weather.gov/PAH, and you can actually find the summary of the severe weather outbreak of April 2nd, 2025. But again, they're still adding more information to it. So again, 14 confirmed tornadoes so far. The most they've had in their office history, 21. But again, that 21 could be in jeopardy due to the severe weather event. Live chat's open, by the way. You guys want to say hi here? Maybe you have a question about last week. So let's go ahead and talk about the tornadoes. And I'm going to go ahead and switch here to my second cam. And you can actually see where, so this is Wayne County. You can see here the big picture, Wayne, Edwards, Wabash. And we're going to zoom out a little bit as we go along here that quick, but Jefferson County, none at all. As we make our way down to the south, you eventually see EF1, EF2, and this is, again, on the National Weather Service of Paducah's website. So you guys could actually access this. So, for example, I see an EF1 down here. This would be for Saline, Gallatin counties. You click on this, and it pops up here. My camera's in the way, so give me a moment here as I move that out of the way here for you. Let me see. Oops, hang on here. Let me see. Give me a moment here, folks. Sorry about that. Oh, I was on the wrong one. Go figure. I was on the wrong one. So, so I'm going to move out of the way here for a moment. But you can actually see when I clicked on the EF1 where it tells you the start time, the end time, the EF scale, estimated peak winds, the track length, maximum width, injuries or deaths, and it has a brief summary as well. So again, that's a Saline Gallatin County tornado that start time touchdown at 8:14 and it lifted at 8:20. And again, you can just go to any of these anywhere in the Paducah sector. One of the strongest ones, actually the strongest one south of I-70 in southern Illinois was this EF2. If you guys recall, a friend of mine lives in that area. This tornado was just about 3 miles north of his house. And so here is the EF2. Started at 7:36, ended at 7:43. Estimated peak winds 125 miles per hour. It was the path length was 5.8 miles. Maximum width 250 yards. And so you can read here that an EF2 tornado began just north of Buncombe, traveling northeast. The tornado caused severe and extensive damage to hundreds of pine trees along its path. One of them suffered the loss of its roof, and a few outbuildings were destroyed. A tornado traveled through the Cedar Rock cabin area where it did severe tree damage, as well as causing minor damage to the cabins. Tornado ended shortly after crossing I-24 just south of Deer Ridge Road. So, but again, you can actually zoom to it. You can pan around here. But that is the EF2 in the Buncombe area. So you have EF0s, EF1s. So again, this is accessible, but I want to go ahead and show you guys this information just to show you what happened. As we zoom out a little bit, you actually do see an EF3 southeast of Louisville, Kentucky. You can see an EF3 over there. Still do not have a summary yet. That one was 165 mile per hour estimated peak winds. So some of this information, again, they do not have up. The longest tracked tornado, pretty much in our region. So if you're including, let's say like central and southern Illinois, you have to go back, and this is a little kind of fidgety here a little bit. I apologize. This EF2 that tracked, this one was on the ground the longest. This one dropped at 6:33. The end time was 7:14. Had an EF scale of it was an EF2. Estimated peak winds 115 miles per hour. This one was on the ground for 44.6 miles and it had maximum width of 1,200 yards. Now this would be in the Lincoln sector, and that's what I like about this is where it's not just Paducah, but you could also access other tornadoes that other NWS offices have surveyed. And so I'll read the information here. This tornado touched down about 2.5 miles south of Toledo, where it uprooted a very large tree into an outbuilding. The long-lived tornado progressed at 65 to 75 miles per hour to the northeast of Cumberland, Clark, and Edgar counties before crossing into Indiana. Now, this tornado caused mainly EF0 and EF1 damage, but it had pulses of EF2 damage with wind speeds of 115 miles per hour, where it snapped off numerous very large and healthy hardwood trees south of Union Center. Several outbuildings and garages were destroyed during its peak intensity as well. The tornado crossed into Indiana, Edgar County, about 1 mile north of Sanford, Indiana. So this one, again, the longest track tornado, even though it caused a lot of EF0, EF1 damage, again, doesn't, I mean, even weak tornadoes can cause damage. This one was on the ground for 44 miles. So, but I wanted to show you guys that. And so let's break it down here. Paducah had 14 tornadoes they have confirmed, possibly more. And I was doing some research on this. I have my notes here in front of me. So, when I was factoring in the data that Paducah had already posted, if you look at the average path length of the tornadoes that occurred, again, this is only in the Paducah sector. I'm not including Lincoln sector or St. Louis, but the average path length was actually 8.19 miles. That is the average path length. The average maximum width of the tornadoes in the Paducah sector 192.86 yards. So if you add up the 14 tornadoes with the maximum width total in terms of yards, so that would be 50, 25, 250, 75, 200, 300, 1,000, 150, 150, 75, 75, 50, 200, and 100. That equals 2,700 yards. So 2,700 yards, in case you're wondering, what does that equal to? That's the equivalent of 22 and a half football fields. And you look at the path lengths here, the longest tracked one in the Paducah area, 19.1 miles. So it goes 10.9, 1.3, 5.8, 3.4, 9.7, 5.1. The highest again, 19.1, 12.1, 11.0, 1.1, 4.1, 12.6, 9.5, and 8.9. That's 114.6 miles. So, but those are the averages when you factor in the tornadoes in terms of their width, in terms of their path length. So again, I'll say that just to avoid confusion. But again, average path length of those tornadoes that Paducah has surveyed, 8.19 miles. The average maximum width, 192.86 yards. Now, in case you're wondering, okay, before we let's talk about the rain here, and I want to bring up here the totals. And so this is just overall here. This is just for our area only. But as you can see right here, obviously we had the severe weather on Wednesday, and then the day after into Saturday we had a lot of rain that fell. So, and I'll show you guys, the other areas as well, areas in our areas for us, and also areas outside of our local area. So, I'm getting tongue-tied. Sorry about that, folks. I just ate. So, but as you can see right there, and as we take a look here at this, and I'm going to go ahead and show you Fairfield. So this is screenshots that I did of the cumulative total rainfall totals, and I know it varies, but for Fairfield, 9.76 inches of rain that fell. And again, I did these screenshots Sunday morning, so after all the main rain had left. Mount Vernon, Illinois, pretty close, a little bit more, about 10.31 inches of rain that fell. And again, it varies depending on the location, depending on where you're at. Let's go down here to, let's go down deep southern Illinois. This is the one that I found to be the highest anyway in that neighborhood. Talk about deep southern Illinois, Buncombe area, south of Vienna. Karnak, just to the west of there, about over 15 and a half inches of rain that fell. That'd be deep southern Illinois, Karnak area. The highest total that I found was in Kentucky in the land between the lakes area. So that would be about just shy of 19 inches of rain that fell. Now you see Benton right there. That is not Benton, Illinois. I repeat, that is not Benton, Illinois. That is Benton, Kentucky. So northeast of Benton, Kentucky, they had about close to 19 inches of rain that fell there. So the higher rainfall totals, again, got higher as you traveled south and southeast, especially in the parts of Kentucky. So, but I wanted to go ahead and show you guys that regarding the total rainfall totals. Now, I understand that there is still some flooding out there. The waters are receding, which is good, but there are still some floodwaters out there. So again, if you come across any flooded roadways, I can't stress it enough, turn around, don't drown, find an alternate route. You don't know how deep that water is. You don't even know what's in that water to begin with. So again, just turn around, don't drown. So we went over the severe weather from last Wednesday. What does it mean? And also the record rainfall, which no doubt about it, this rainfall that we received starting Wednesday and into the weekend, no doubt about it, it has broke some records already. But what does it mean for the future here? Well, for us this week so far, looking at it weather-wise, No severe weather at all for the Fairfield area. I was looking up to see what the forecast was like over the remainder of the week. You do have a 50% chance of showers and storms Wednesday night. No severe weather anticipated with that. Showers likely, possibly a storm on Thursday, 60% chance of that. But not seeing even, I went to the Storm Prediction Center website. I'm not seeing any severe weather at all in the day's outlook. They have the day 1 to the day 8 outlook. I'm not seeing any severe weather at all. So we will enjoy this calm, I guess you could say, this break from severe weather. But one thing I do want to say, one thing to keep in mind is we are still in early April. We're still early in the spring season. We're still in the transitioning part from winter into spring. And one of the things about the peaks of severe weather, April through June, I mean, severe weather can happen any time of the year, but April through June is considered the peak of severe weather season nationwide. So if you look at, for us here in the Central Plains and Midwest, May to June is where the severe weather peak is. If you look at us here in the Ohio Valley, that's going to be April to June. So we still got some days, we still got some months to go through here. So again, keep that in the back of your mind when you see severe weather being talked about, as right now we're just getting into the peak of severe weather season. As I mentioned, you guys heard me say it back in March, where March is kind of like the gateway point where we start to enter a severe weather season. And so severe weather can happen any time of the year, but still, though, we're in that time of the year where the weather can get nasty. One of the reasons why I talked about how April through June is considered again to be the peak of severe weather season nationwide. It's when you have the most tornadoes, severe storms. They typically occur due to strong jet streams, increased moisture. I've talked about instability before in the past. So that's the reason why that's the overall US peak, is due to those factors. And so, again, we just cannot overlook anything. But again, no, tornado frequency usually peaks before hail and wind severity, which can continue into the summer as well. So just going off of some notes that I took down here. I've got some notes off camera here, but again, if you guys have any questions, you want to say hi, feel free to. But I want to say that I think for mid-March and up until this point, we've been hit, but we've been fortunate here. We've been fortunate where others have not been fortunate at all. So just to wrap it up here, again, all this information can be found on the National Weather Service Paducah website. If you guys want to check out the tornado information they have posted. Obviously, they still got some more to count. 14 confirmed already since Wednesday of last week. The highest number for them is 21. That could be in jeopardy. We'll see. But that's a page that I encourage you to keep an eye on. Also, one thing I'm working on here, and I'm doing some research when I have some free time. I already know some things about it. But one of the things that I have been considering doing, and it depends on what goes on that day, but April 21st, 2002 is when the F3 tornado impacted Wayne County. And I was in 7th grade at the time when it hit, and I was home at the time it hit too. But I never really fully told my story. I've told the story to some people, but there are some details that I leave out for specific reasons. But I want to go a little bit more in depth with it. So keep it on my Facebook page. I plan on doing a live stream of my account, my personal perspective of what happened that day, because there are some things that happened that day that I think people have forgotten about, or they simply do not know. And so anyway, I plan on doing that. So I'll post the information on my personal Facebook page. But if you're interested in local history and you're interested in weather history, I think it's something that I think it'd be really interesting and to chat with you guys about. So, but again, it's something that I'm considering doing. But I'm still deciding what time. I would like to do it on the 21st, by the way. The 21st, by the way, is on Monday. I think April 21st is on a Monday, so it's a day after Easter. So anyway, so I'll keep you guys informed on that. But um, with all that being said, I always say, be weather aware. Always be prepared. Always be weather aware. We're still in the thick of severe weather season. Also, shout out going back to Wednesday of last week into the and even into the raining portion where we had the record rainfall and the creeks and rivers or and streams are out of their banks, and a lot of credit, a lot of kudos to the linemen for restoring power. Those guys deserve a lot of credit. I also want to thank the local emergency management agencies. Those guys do an outstanding job, along with the city and county officials, emergency first responders as well. I know there's been some water rescues here in the region. So I was talking to one of the rural firemen last weekend about the water rescue he had to do, and he was telling me about one. So again, shout out to those guys. If you happen to see any of our linemen, any of our local emergency first responders, along with our city and county officials, please tell them thank you and how much you appreciate them, because they do so much for us, even from the front lines to behind the scenes. They definitely deserve a lot of kudos and credit. So want to thank those guys. And also, Wednesday, I appreciate those who also on the live stream told me what shelters were open. I know there was churches that opened their doors, businesses that opened their doors. Shout out to you guys as well for posting in the live chat. That way, the word was spread about that, and I hope that it was communicated and to the public. So, thank you to those who informed me of that in the live chat. And so, because there's people who live around here who do not have a shelter to go to, and it's always good to see churches and businesses, organizations open up their doors for people to be sheltered when you have severe weather situations like what we had back last Wednesday as an example in mid-March. So shout out to you guys for opening your doors, opening your shelter doors. So, but anyway, that about wraps it up here for this live stream severe weather recap. Keep it on the Paducah website. They'll be posting some more information as the days go on. 14 confirmed tornadoes so far. Still more to be counted for, it looks like. The page will continue to be updated by the National Weather Service office in Paducah. Shout out to the forecasters and meteorologists for their hard work. I'm sure they're enjoying this nice little break, but still reporting on some things from last week's event. So until the next live stream, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. It could be for the anniversary of the April 21st, 2002 tornado. I'd like to talk about that from my personal perspective. I've told my story, but I like to talk more about it, get a little bit more in depth. So keep an eye on that. But otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and see you all in the next live stream, wherever that would be. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.